saw to Gen G from game number 1, which was 100% Gen G. So speaking of Gen G, here's their comp. Get the Aatrox back, Skarner once again, and Ruler says, well, I couldn't carry hard enough on the Ezreal. How about Vayne with the Yuumi on her back?
Exactly. We're going to be able to talk about the life of a cat, Atlas. Valdez, in this particular game, had Atlas on the mind.
Yeah,
apologies there. Wrong day. League of Legends every day for Papa Smithy. And if you come in stealth and open up with that final chapter, you can't kite Vayne, and she can start stunning people, and damage soon follows. Kingston are trying to change the battlefield. They're not going to be fighting front to back. They've got a Victor bot lane to try to take advantage that Vayne Yuumi sounds strong, but not necessarily in the 2v2 early, unless that cat can really impress us.
See how it does in action here on the Rift for game number 2 of Gen Z up against Kingzone. I don't know who was referenced there and the extra whiting we had.
I know what was referenced by Observer Valdez. Predator Pike in this game. You already get a warning marker that the death from below could be on the way. The deep water dive has that proximity marker like a Rengar does. Well, now you got 2 of them. Pain Train can be enacted. So no Aftershock on Tucson is interesting. Usually it's a plug-and-play decision. Yuumi, in case you guys are not aware, with the latest release, is the cute cat, released on patch 9.10. We're on 9.11 here. The hot fixes from 9.10, of course, alive. You do not opt into a flash on this champion because she has the ability to just jump into an ally and surf between them. So very commonly you will see a Medjay on a Yuumi, and also an Athene's Unholy Grail, like we've seen from our Luxes this week. So you can go Exhaust Ignite, but in pro play it will always be Exhaust Heal, Valdez, because at the end of the day, you take the heal, so Ruler can take the TP.
And you can see that she also picked up Gathering Storm. That was kind of blocked by the little advertisement we had before. But she'd be very annoying in the lane, as you guys can see, just drawing out a little projectile and seeing what she can hit. I spent a lot of time after I came back just playing a lot of Yuumi, and
what do you take?
She's actually very fun. More than I expected her to be.
How many games have you played against Yuumi, and how much fun did you have against Yuumi?
Against Yuumi, it's not fun at all. It sucks.
For many different reasons. Like, the Q being able to curl around the minion wave is obviously, like, epically broken by how League of Legends usually works, right? Very hard to stop against that. One of the biggest points of frustration is that Yuumi level 1 is the most instant win laning thing that's ever existed in League of Legends because she's a duo lane specialist, top side. Roscoe getting a very nice trade in with full stacks on Cuvée. The reason why I say that is, when you fight for a minion wave as it arrives, usually trading is an important thing to do. The question is, when Yuumi walks up, who do you hit? Because Yuumi orders you, gets a shield.
Yeah.
She has no base stats, you think kill the damn Yuumi. Well, unfortunately, she jumps into her AD carry and then further hurts you with her Q, or you hit the AD carry and then Yumi's free hitting on you. So you actually have no good choices, and she has 2 abilities. So I really feel like she shouldn't have that. Is Cuvée going to have a life after this? Because diving Aatroxes has happened a lot.
Well, how about just a short roam into forcing out the TP early? That's definitely a good alternative. As you can see, you're not getting away from this one. Deft, you're going to take a lot of damage here, as you take a look at the damage already that they have taken. It's pretty insane.
You know what sucks? Last hitting as an AD carry against a Yuumi. Well, guess what? A mage going Frostmancy. This is actually one way to interact with that OP nature of Yuumi, because for now, Deft is actually rewarded for taking active trades. He has a shield to match the poke damage that usually comes in at early levels, so it's definitely a creative way to play against Yuumi, that's for sure. Only other thing, unfortunately, is that Tucson has to last hit as a melee champion, then instantly Ghost Water dive away to get his health back from that annoying Yuumi poke. So the healing and shielding is Kingzone's way to try to out-interact the highly interactive Yuumi.
And of course, Ruler is going to have a fun time here. Gets zoomies, runs around real fast, never really loses that much health, and kind of just lets life do all the work for him. He's having a little bit of trouble here because the wave is pushing in, but overall, this lane pretty easy for him so far.
Pyke has 21 CS to the 34 of Yuumi. The evolve already on the GP10 item means that Deft will be getting that number early. And if you get like a 9 to 10 minute transformation, guess it's a good way not to interact with Yuumi. Laser that stupid minion wave and just leave the lane.
That's a good way to not play against a champion, is to leave the lane. Say, I've had enough. I just don't want it anymore.
I choose the more manageable ban Yuumi approach, not interacting with the champion. Q-Cat going back to base and upgrading her GP10.
That is the one skin that she does have, right?
I believe so, yeah. I actually haven't seen it.
Using the pink chroma. That's actually the one that I chose.
Oh.
Yeah. I had a lot of choices. She has like 10 chromas. You know, makes sense, right? Cute cat. Gotta give her as many chromas as possible, but I thought the only real choice was the pink one. She had a lot of cool ones too, like a dark one, like a, you know, what's the name of that? Like an Umbreon, you know, from Pokemon. That kind of feel. But pink was the easy choice for me.
Gotta admit, the pink chromas are always ones I love. Pink Zac. I actually have all the Caitlyn skins unlocked thanks Riot Games, but actually I just go base skin with pink chroma because it's just the most obnoxious by far.
That's the best.
We're not able to open Korean accounts, so we do get some freebies from Riot Games Korea. Thank you for that. It's not normally how they interact with other. I still have my main account parked on North America, I believe, at the moment.
Oh yeah.
It's a use at international events account.
It's good. I have a level 11 alt. His name is Hippo Fun.
Whoa. That's a good name, actually.
When I was younger, I was not very good at making IDs, but I feel like as I've gotten older, not saying that I'm old, but as the years have come along, I feel like I've gotten better and better at making IDs.
Thankfully, on the Korean server, most English IDs are available more so than other servers, so can get in there and have some fun. We're talking about IDs because these teams are not fighting right now. And that's something that, again, has been leveraged to criticism against Korean teams, could be leveraged against SKT in our first series. The cool thing about the previous game was that Kingzone knew exactly what they were doing. And speaking of Kingzone...
Oh boy, here we go. How about a stun into another one? And this time around, you can say goodbye, as you are not going to stay alive. Goodbye to Aatrox.
And the point illustrated on the screen. Kingzone waited till their time and then turned it on and never looked like losing Valdez. The bot lane here has been a creative attempt to circumvent how strong Yuumi's laning is. But when Kingzone started, the game ended in very linear fashion. This gank topside, again preying upon the fact there's no more note buttons for Cuvée. You go too far, you die. You don't get that free revive. Means that topside in a good spot, and you can snowball on Aatrox. That's what Korean teams have been doing again and again.
Good execution overall, because it's the ult. We've seen a lot of Sejuani's. I feel like Sejuani ult is one of the most embarrassing ones when you miss, because it's just so obvious when that giant thing just goes flying the other way.
And everyone in chat spot spamming my name, Smithy, they say, for some reason. Not
yeah,
sure what that's
weird.
about.
I don't get the...
They don't spell it right either. I don't know what that's about.
I don't know. Twitch chat is weird at times, Papa. You just have to accept it and move on.
I feel like Twitch chat's very polarizing. Then people think they have. Some people think they have hearts of darkness. I see the hearts of gold, but I think both sides kind of understand where the other side's coming from.
Definitely a gold mine of many things in the Twitch chat, and yeah, I mean Roller's got a gold mine here in the bottom lane, as there is not much of a lane for him. He kind of just sits there and auto attack stuff. Gets in range for the Yuumi Q. That's important.
Do notice that the transformation with the early TP back to lane and the very early GP10, and the fact that Pyke was able to shrug off damage with the deep water dive and Deft could focus on harassing. I believe Deft is the only player who's now twice I've seen gotten a pre-10-minute quest cash-in on this Victor bot lane. He's still playing it. You understand why, just because the Yuumi thing is too annoying for a regular 2v2 to lane with. If you go, I saw in the LPL, I believe it was a Leona lane against Yuumi, and it was just the saddest thing ever. Like, Leona could never do anything, never had any health. Because who do you engage on, damn it? But this one is actually highly frustrating, Gen.G, and who knows how many even scrim games of practice they have on Yuumi lanes.
Well, I mean, you do your basic amount. Right? You get those 30, 40 in, but then eventually it's like...
Do you? With the bans the champions get?
Yeah, as I was saying that, I'm like, well, you probably want to get your 30, 40, but then eventually everybody disbands at every game, so it's like, well...
Put your money where your mouth is. How many games have they played at even scrim level of Vayne Yuumi? Like, it has to be less than 5, right?
Yeah, I'd say probably 3.
And how many games against...
Not very many.
Frostmancy and Bike, right? That's the crazy thing is, you know that Def and Tucson know these champions well. You assume that Gen.G have minimum practice levels. That's a tricky thing to deal with.
Although I guess in scrims you could say, hey, don't ban it. We really want to practice this.
I mean, that has happened. I don't know if that does happen, if you know what I mean.
I'm not a scrim aficionado myself.
And they don't have a 10-man roster, so internal scrims aren't as trivial coming through. They do have the 10-man roster on the Gen.G side, though, so maybe they have, you know? What's to say? But with the Yuumi bans, and this is the first game it's open, you're going to see very little of it. I wonder if we'll see any of it in the LEC later today. Top side-wise, the Aatrox going to see plenty of play, as we know, but we're still waiting on Aatroxes to find reliable ways to win. The win rate in Korea, nice and low.
Nice little grab here on a Kuzan, but it is Lissandra. So, puts an end to that.
Going for the Victor bot lane allows Predator Pike with Moby Boots to leave lane more often than not, because you can, like we mentioned, laser waves and leave. That was a roam up mostly to make sure they weren't outgunned around the Rift Herald. They get the Rift Herald as a freebie. Clan sticks in it. They're just jamming the Rift Herald as fast as possible.
Was that the fastest Rift Herald summon of all time?
Close to it, Valdez.
In LCK. That was very fast. As okay, this time everything's going wide, and Pive's going to stand tall and not be hit by anything.
First skill shot hits, they probably go for the dive. It doesn't, so they just deal with the turret plates being shared and not solo plates. In that particular case, back away. Juve ult on cooldown. Again, it's a different thing to think about. Usually that's a really big thing right now because of the 1v1 or 2v2 nature. Less big. Tina backs away on the Skarner, like we mentioned, he's had more success on. I'd like to see the gold layers. I'm looking forward to the next time we see the tab screen, the bot side, as Victor is now getting 2 forms of income. He's lasering the minions and still getting the quest harassment onto the duo.
So far, though, not that much harassment as he is just going for the big lasers, and whenever they're in lane, he kind of gets pushed back by them, and they leave immediately after pushing. Still waiting on those gold values, but we'll get them eventually.
For Kingzone, it's what does the mid-game look like for this team? Because at some point, not having an AD carry does change the game. At some point, that is something that's a trouble. But in the mid-game, not so much, because whatever the build is here, remember the Rageblade build was target nerfed with the change to third auto for Phantom hit proc for the Play the Ruin King Rageblade duo of items we always used to see on Vayne. Around those time, 2 items are done. It's very risky to tumble into a Victor. It's something that has turned big games in the past. So the ability to get consistent damage is kind of later when you've got 4 or 5 items and you have double lifesteal and you can be very aggressive with your position. Before that, you're just a very low base health and base stats champion that can be taken down. So given we gave Kingzone credit for in the previous game, knowing when the game was there to be won, knowing when they were strong and acting on it, how will Kingzone play in the following 15 minutes or so, where it feels like their draft is best and strongest?
Well, for now, they have their sights set on one man, and that is Aatrox. But again, The sights are going to sail wide as the TP's coming in, and here's Peanut. They do get the Aatrox, and now it is 3-on-2, and Peanut in a bit of trouble, wants to trade for Rascal, but the double kill, and he gets away! What a play there by Rascal to flash away at the last moment.
Insane for him to live through all of that. Just enough health, just enough turret shots, and juggled a double kill. It means that even though Peanut's on the right side of the map, it's not enough.
That was just not what I was expecting, but sometimes Aurelia comes through big, especially now in the hands of Rascal, who is playing so well today.
And Aurelia hasn't been at the front of our minds. There's been so many Aurelia bans. Valdez, bot side, we missed this play. We talked about the potential all-in with the Yuumi. This time the all-in worked out.
Final chapter finally gets that last stack, roots him in the brush. That's enough. This is the replay I wanted to see.
So with the ult missing, it's the reason why it takes a little bit longer to take down Cube. And Peanut rolls in thinking they can make the big turn, but Kuzan can't actually change things much in this scenario. Just assumed Rascal would go down, but lost turret aggro and got out. It was a close one, but the turret's down on the back end.
Now he's up about 2,000 gold. He also uses stopwatch right at the right time to avoid a bunch of, the grabs coming in and anything. Eventually did get grabbed, but still made the most of it. Now he's 3-0.
Uh-oh, look at the items too. Trinity Force Tiamat, if you don't
Ooh.
mind. Don't want to be in that lane, as Aatrox already starts to back.
We're going to have to rename Aatrox to BBtrox, as now he is no longer a Tier A champion in this game. Just not liking what I'm seeing nowadays on the Rift.
And again, that's different to most people's tier list, where he's considered S tier. It's different to his pick ban status, which is close to 100%.
Yeah.
And again, the highlight of Aatrox, the late game of Aatrox, cannot be denied. We saw a 750 heal in an instant in a previous fight, but losing out on early game blind pickability in pro play is a big pro play nerf. I feel like the champion still slams solo queue, and there's still ways to baby it through the laning phase and get the value lane.
It's true. Well, Peanut waiting down here on the bottom side, seeing if they can continue to bully, as an insane amount of control wards have been placed down here. We saw one in each brush the last time. Now we have two in the front brush, as they're just waiting to bait them into this fight.
Bot side.
He's coming in there, though. Nico's going to get that first row, but look at Death. He just disappears. And now here we go. Peanut is going to get the grab, but there you go. Vayne is going to go down, and there is going to be everybody just decimated as 3 more kills come through. Pyke getting the resets and an extra kill there in the pockets of Rascal.
The blue hue combat text tells you assist on and kill. Gold share on both. That means the gold lead is going to balloon. It's 5,000 already, Valdez. Kusin waits out, but doesn't quite have the range to hit the Bone Skewer. Send in your friends if you can't deal with the 2v2. That is the King's Own way. We already said, you're not picking Victor to kill the Vayne. You're picking Victor to deal with the Yuumi lane and to try to disengage.
That's not really going to plan so far. That has been the name of the game here for Gen G up against King's Own. King's Own looking really dominant, even after Death just disappeared.
And we talked about how in the final hour, with the final chapter for the chapter hour double final synergy, what do, right? Vayne's running at you, can't kite her, she moves faster than you, she's got a stun. You bring friends, that's what you do. Never enter the jungle without bringing your friends, and they had already coordinated the teleport, and the best that could happen is to get that first kill onto Vayne. After that, some very clear calls, not too much cheering between the King's Own trio.
Had a good angle.
나이스! 자기 한번 방 띄워줄래? 나 바텀 밀게 괜찮아. 바텀 밀고 니코 좋아.
And they're already talking about pushing out bot lane and resolving as G-Sun feeds into our ears. So thank you very much for the translating there, G-Sun. She gave a little giggle at the end in case you guys wanted the G-Sun update. The game update is a lot of gold. That's 6,000 Valdez, and here's what I'll tell you about Pyke. If you hit the mid game and then Pyke wins a team fight, the gold lead is always bonkers.
It's bonkers, that's for sure. That's one way to put it. As the Yuumi is not you know, it did okay in the lane, but it's just the team around it this time around is not going to really find much success, as now they throw Aurelia down here. He's casually 4-0-2, took the top lane turret, has almost 10,000 gold for 420 minutes. He's feeling pretty good.
Even Dragon X are the best team we've seen on the Rift in LCK Summer, and the last to debut, chasing on to Cuvée. Once again, he can't run away.
This time he's not going to miss, but unfortunately the follow-up not quite there, as they're diving inner turrets right now. Kingzone just look unbelievably confident and dominant in this series up against Gen G. It's not even close.
The crazy thing is, in game number 1, they read the tendencies of the enemy team, answered them with the Karthus, won the game. In game number 2, they read the Yuumi pick, had a pocket answer to it, and not a standard one. This is not, well, this Yuumi sucks, what are you doing? This is kleptomancy and a Pyke bot lane that could roam because the Victor got a quick quest cash in. They read both the team tendencies and prepared for the Yuumi first pick. That just means they're on a different level to their opponent. And this is a team that you could be forgiven for thinking, with Pawn having to step away for medical reasons, might be out of contention.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited now for the future of the summer and seeing exactly what Kingzone have else up their sleeve. So far, it has been only good stuff here today, as Ruler and Peanut, and don't forget Little Life there hanging on, going for a little walk in the jungle, but not going to find any enemies.
It just feels like Kingzone are rotating around the duo lane. They don't have easy one-person or even 2v2s to send into the lane, so why not win everywhere else? Trying to give the Vayne Yuumi Nasus treatment, it feels like, in some ways, and win the game around what the Vayne and her chase down potential might represent. Baron buff, not a girl's best friend if you're a Vayne, so Kingzone can pick that one up with the Nico to walk up, with the Aurelia threat. They can play one lane, they can play multiple lanes. Gen G need to kind of put all their eggs in the Repel Baron bucket, otherwise things get even more difficult than a 6,000 gold represents.
It's been a cloudy day here, lots of Cloud Drakes so far today. This will be the second one, and it should be picked up here for the side of Kingzone.
Definitely.
Really no challenge from the side of Gen G. That's going to be pretty good. I feel like not as good as some of the other comps we have seen today, but overall not that bad. Here comes Tucent looking for an angle now onto Ruler. Is not going to find it. So Ruler will tumble away.
Can't allow a fight for Vayne to reset behind the front line. That's the one thing they can't allow. For now, at least, not having Aatrox in a team fight suits them just fine. One death on Kingzone can lead to many more quickly, but the same can be true with the Pyke.
Oh, Peanut, he's gonna have that spear in the back, and here comes Nico, gonna get 3 with the lockdown, and there's not much that Gen G can do. Everybody is just getting rolled over, and Kuzan wants none of it, but he may get some here from the Aurelia, as Rascal is still on the chase. Will eventually give it up, but that's 4 for none to the side of Kingzone.
Kuzan's late to the house party, but the cops already called it off. Everyone's gone before he even gets there. 4 deaths before that happens, and now Baron buff, an afterthought for Kingzone Dragon X.
May not be the quickest game we've ever seen with the slow start, but once they got it rolling, Kingzone are making it look so easy today as the TPs are coming in. Not sure what they're going to be able to do here, as Ruler is going to have to walk away from that one and head up to the top side.
Optimistic TP. Baron was already done. They didn't have spotting vision on it, as far as we could tell. It's a 2-for-1 TP, as Yuumi gets to follow through teleport, in case you guys haven't tried her out. Gonna see the replay here, and Peanut gets caught, and unfortunately, that means look at the Nico here. We've seen so many of the Pop Blossoms be better on Sylas or missed on the Nico. You look back and you nod your head and say, that's a nice one, Neon. He's the player who needs to level up for Kingzone to be a contender. He's looking at home Valdez as a Kingzone Dragon X.
Well, now they've got 10,000 gold in the lead, and already a Baron buff power play of almost 2,000. These guys are on a roll. Definitely very fun to watch, especially once they get it ramped up here. Ruler, I like the idea with the Vayne alongside the Yuumi, trying to go for that hard carry, but unfortunately, as a team, it's not as easy as it looks.
No item complacence of Genji here can change things in the short term. Life's gone. Medjay, again, is super core onto Yuumi. And if she's dying, doesn't really matter what items she had. There's bigger problems. Kingzone, we talked about needing an early Baron. Don't want to get to late game team fights. The late game might be 25 minutes, Valdez. We're close to a Kingzone 2-0 pre-30.
It's kind of looking like it here, but Kingzone waiting on the push. Not going to push it just yet. Perhaps give the red buff to your 5-0 and 5 Irelia. That is level 15 in this game alongside Nahon, and small little hook there on Akive means a nice chunk of damage, and the pushes should begin here in the bottom.
Here we go. Minion wave starts to come forward. Genji trying to clear it out, but limited wave clear.
See even the lasers here from Deft, who's kind of just been farming in this game, are beginning to do that damage towards Ruler.
Next minion wave is probably the one where they walk up. Mid lane turret quite low.
There's another laser to Ruler. Just gonna get healed up by the zoomies. Little cat scout on his back, and poke is real from the side of Kingzone as the slow push is coming in. Ruler desperately trying to get in there. Does kill the cannon, but as you mentioned, they just rotate easily up to the mid lane. That really has been the key word of today for Kingzone, easy. So it has not looked too difficult for them.
But it's not just the level of their opponent, their own level has been really good. Genji were able to wait out Dumb1 Gaming. Here's the team fight.
Yeah, nice cleanse there from Ruler. He is going to be free hitting in the back here. Nahon trying to come in from the left side. The pole does come down, but Nahon able to get in there, and unfortunately is going to go down. Ruler's still here, available, but the rest of his team is just belting around him. He's going to push forward because he has to. No other real chance for him. A triple kill for Irelia, and the ace will come through for Kingzone, and it will be a relatively quick game here for game number 2 win.
Now, they won't have Baron buff minions. I'm not 100% clear they can close. They're going to try to, Valdez. Only 26 minutes, but those death timers, 20 seconds is enough, actually.
Yeah, especially with the ace, everybody just going to be decimated.
Here's the super minions. It's now.
They're all coming on in here. They will be able to push down these turrets. So in 27 minutes almost here, Kingzone able to fly onto the victory here. The 2-0 over Gen G tonight.